The light that leads to darkness. Not every light comes from heaven. Some only shine just enough to lead you off a cliff. We walk through life trusting what we see, what we feel, what makes sense to us. But truth isn't always visible. Wisdom isn't always obvious. How many people have stepped into a relationship, a job, a habit, because it felt right, and later found themselves empty, broken, or far from who they once were? There is a way that seems right, but its end is death. Not always physical. Death. Sometimes it's the death of your peace, your identity, your connection with God. If you believe Solomon was right, the king has spoken in the comments. Let's see who's really paying attention. The deception of emotions. We live in a world that teaches, if it feels right, it must be right. But feelings are wild animals. They shift, they lie. Solomon didn't say, follow your heart. He said, guard your heart. There's a reason for that. You ever look back at something you swore was right, and now you can't believe how blind you were? That's what Solomon was warning us about. Your emotions are real, but they're not always true. Wisdom isn't emotional, it's eternal. It doesn't react when it discerns. Pride, the false guide. Pride is a counterfeit compass. It points you towards self, not truth. It tells you that you've got this, that you don't need advice, that you're too smart to fall. But how many confident people walked straight into collapse? Pride builds roads paved with gold but hollow underneath. Solomon wrote, pride comes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. Sometimes the strongest move you can make is to stop and admit, I don't know the way. That's not weakness. That's the beginning of wisdom. Type, Solomon was ahead of us, if you've ever learned something the hard way. Modern thinking versus ancient truth. The world says, follow your truth. God says, seek my truth. The difference is everything. We're told to be our own light, our own guide, our own God. But Solomon warns us, human understanding has limits. What we call freedom might be a new kind of bondage. You can win the world and lose your soul, all while thinking you're on the right path. The wise man doesn't ask, does this make me happy? He asks, is this right? And that question, it changes everything. The slow descent destruction rarely announces itself. It moves quietly, slowly. It begins with a compromise, a little lie, a small step. One drink, one message, one night, one harmless decision, and suddenly you're not who you were. Most people don't wake up and choose ruin. They wake up one day and realize they've been walking toward it for years. If that hits you, right, I'm not sleeping anymore. Someone else might read it and wake up too. Pain as a teacher. Wisdom often enters through wounds. Truth doesn't always soothe. Sometimes it burns. Solomon didn't promise comfort. He promised that wisdom would protect your life, where even if it first breaks your pride. It's not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to save you. Growth hurts. Saying no to your flesh hurts. Letting go of what's toxic hurts. But sometimes, the pain of obedience is the very thing that spares you the agony of regret. Discernment, the weapon you forgot. Discernment is seeing beyond the surface, beyond appearance, beyond charm, beyond hype. Solomon said the prudent man sees danger and hides himself, but the simple keep going and pay the price. You don't need to know everything, but you do need to recognize when something isn't right. Stop chasing open doors. Ask who's holding them open. Not every opportunity is divine. Some are distractions in disguise. If you've ever thanked God for a closed door, drop "He saved me from me" in the comments. The final step before you move, ask, is this wisdom or ego? Is this the Spirit speaking or just your fear of missing out? Because many people walk proudly into ruin and only realize too late that they were led by desire, not truth. There is a way that feels right, but it leads to death, and the most dangerous path is the one that looks the safest.